Hello, hello, hello. Voice is a little croaky today. Let's see if people can hear me. I think we are live. Can anybody hear me? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the SEO workshop, live website audits, Q&A, all the good stuff. Looks like we are working. People are starting to join. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, you guys can hear me. Great. Just wanted to check. Just going to give like another minute for people to join. If you are here, go ahead and screenshot this slide. I think it will be, very useful. That's why we kind of wanted to pack a lot of good stuff on this slide. So we are going to be live auditing a few of your websites and going over my SEO process, and then answering some of your questions at the end during Q&A. So go ahead and screenshot this slide. It will come in handy later. Looks like everybody can hear me. So in just another minute, I'm going to get started explaining all of this stuff. I do notice that my voice is a little croaky today, kind of allergy season for me here in Northern California. So might be having to take a couple sips of water, but I'm all good. I can just, just hear a little croakiness. So let's see, I realized I've got a tab open that is making noise. So I'm going to close that, go back into presenting mode. Okay, so I am going to get started and start explaining what the heck all of this stuff is on the screen. So I like to separate SEO into kind of a basic strategy and an advanced strategy. So the basic is like, if you haven't done this yet, just go ahead and do it, because SEO is basically like, if you don't try, you are not gonna succeed. It's like, if you don't put, do the swing at bat, if you don't take an at bat, then, you can't get a home run. So you might as well take a couple hours and do the basic if you haven't done that yet. If you're early on in your business and you don't have like a big network, you don't have referrals, you don't have leads coming in, then you might want to do, just the basic, and then move on to strategies that are going to be a bit more, reliable. So things like, actually building up a referral network and, going to events and things like that, because SEO is known to be more of a long-term strategy. It can take 6 months to 18 months to see results from what you're doing. So, you might have heard of the 80-20 rule. Well, for most business owners, SEO will actually fit in the 20% rather than the 80, because there's really no guarantees. Although we know what Google likes and we know what works, there's still no guarantees that Google will favor our website over others. So that's why, for most small businesses, it goes in the 20% kind of category. Of course, there's a lot of businesses that go all in on SEO, but that wouldn't be a normal strategy for most interior designers. Unless the competition is really low, which we'll go into how to find out about, the competition of key phrases in a minute. So that's kind of where the basic and advanced separation happens. The basic is like, you might as well do this and take your chance and give it a shot, but you got to make sure you're spending your marketing time on things that might be a little bit more reliable. Whereas the advanced method could be if you already have, steady leads coming in from referrals, and steady leads coming in from, social media, your network, maybe posting in Facebook groups, whatever else you do, then let's go ahead and move on to the advanced steps and give it even more of a shot and see if you can rank your website for some more competitive key phrases and really get that steady stream of traffic that you get from Google search. So what's really great about SEO is that when you do rank, you have the chance to retain those rankings for a long time. You can rank for something for years. And so that can bring in, a steady stream of traffic for years. Also, you might get lucky and rank a bottom of the funnel key phrase, which means somebody's actually searching to like buy or hire somebody right then. That's what that bottom of funnel means. It's like they are ready to buy. So that would be like, virtual interior designer or Sacramento interior designer. Like if somebody's searching that, it's because they're ready to hire somebody. But a top of funnel key phrase might be something like, trying to think, colorful interior design inspiration, or like purple bedroom inspiration or something, or examples, right? That's more top of funnel. They may not become a client, but you could still, capture that person with an email opt-in and turn them into a client later. But that's a top of funnel key phrase because they're not ready to buy yet. But if you have a chance to rank for bottom of funnel key phrases, that can turn into, dozens of leads per month because people are actively searching for that service. They find your website, they like what you do, and they fill out your contact form. So I wanted to start with this slide so that we kind of have some like common language before we go into the audits, so we kind of understand, what we're even talking about here. So with SEO, there's always a trifecta that you have to have all of these things working in order to rank, for the most part. Sometimes you could just have one working and you could get lucky, but for the most part, you got to have all of these three things working. So they are your site optimization, your topical authority, and then the vote of confidence. That's somebody else saying why your website should rank. So SEO isn't just, hey, rank me, rank me, rank me. This is who I am. Google needs a vote of confidence to trust you and to say, yeah, this is not a spammy business. This is not a cruddy website. I think we should rank this website. The algorithm needs a vote of confidence. So in local SEO, we're going to start talking about the vote of confidence and we'll move on to the other parts of the trifecta. In local SEO, that vote of confidence is Google reviews, because Google, that's obviously their own platform. So having a lot of Google reviews, a lot of positive, plus a high volume of Google reviews. I just want to check everybody can still hear me. It sounds like yes. If there's like a high number of positive reviews, that shows Google that this is a good business, right? Because you have to think, being good at SEO is fitting in with Google's business model. Google won, the world over pretty much with their search engine because they give the highest quality results. They don't want to show, crap to their users, then nobody's going to use them anymore. Then they can't get ad revenue. So by showing businesses that have a high number of positive reviews, Google feels more confident that this is something they want to show to people that are using their platform. So the Google reviews can impact your main website ranking, and they also help you show up in Google Maps. So if you're trying to rank for like a local key phrase, Google Maps is going to be really important for you. For a niche, key phrase ranking that you want, such as, virtual design services, something that is not location specific, Google reviews don't really matter. What matters are backlinks. So let's say that you got quoted in an article and the article was something like 5 interior designers share their, best sprucing up tips for spring. I don't know, right? And you had a quote, and then the writer linked to your website. Maybe they attributed you from your name or your business's name and linked back to your website. So that's a backlink. So that acts as a vote of confidence for Google. If a bunch of websites are linking to your website, that tells Google that other websites trust you and are saying, yes, go ahead and link to this person. And, we trust them, and go ahead and rank this person. So the best kind of backlink would actually have your target key phrase as the word. So like you can control this. If you are writing an article, a guest post on somebody's blog, and you get a little bio section, instead of linking to your website from your business name, actually link from your target key phrase. So you might say, Susie is a virtual interior designer. Link to your website from that phrase instead of from your business name. Your business's name. Yes. So that's the vote of confidence. So a lot of people like just don't realize that really matters, but it makes a lot of sense because Google's not just going to listen to you. They want to hear what other people have to say about your business. So back to the other two things that are the same, regardless of locality key phrase or a niche key phrase. So those would be site optimization and topical authority. So site optimization is like what you put on your page. So if you want to rank for, Brooklyn interior designer, you've got to put Brooklyn interior designer actually on the web page and preferably in the meta description, which I can show when we're doing some audits. But site optimization is basically what you're doing on your website. That's what, you're saying that you want to rank for. And then your topical authority, that's where blogging comes in. So a lot of people think, oh, it might not be worth it to blog because I'm not really going to rank for every key phrase. But the thing is, even if you only rank for 5 or 10% of your key phrases, they all play together because it shows Google that you are an expert. And it makes sense because Google's not just going to rank one website because it has one article about something, right? They're going to rank the website that has 100 articles, and they're going to rank what's, the best for those different key phrases. But that shows Google that you are a topical authority and, you're invested in this type of topic and you're continuing to put out great content. So your blog posts that even don't rank can help you rank for your target key phrases, your bottom of funnel key phrases, because they're showing Google that you're an active expert. So we do have a blog post on all of this, and you can visit that and read that. But I wanted to start here so that we kind of have some common language as we're going through to the audits. So now we're going to do the audits. Like I said, I think my allergy season here is getting me a little froggy. So okay, ready. So the first one that I picked, now we've got to make sure that I understand my own notes. I prepared, I took notes. Now the only thing we got to check is that I know what I'm talking about in these notes. So our first business up is Sorel Interiors. This is Doreen's company. So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to use Ahrefs. Now I wanted to show you guys, my favorite tool is Ahrefs. It is more of a professional tool. It is more expensive. Here are two lower cost options for SEO research tools. We've got Ubersuggest, and that's just did a redirect. And then we've got Mangools. But keep in mind that, you can kind of do SEO key phrase research in a batch. So, you could sign up for 1 month and kind of do all the topical research that you need to do, or if you're redesigning your website, do all of that. And then of course you could, cancel because unless you're an SEO professional, you don't need to be using this. So the first step is to actually kind of see what's going on with this website in terms of SEO. So what we're looking for is are there anything that's already ranking? What's the domain rank? So the domain rank is a reflection of how many backlinks you have. So you can rank, and this is where kind of back to this, you can be really strong on one thing and that lets you be weak on something else. So if you're really strong on topical authority, you've been blogging for a long time, but you have a low kind of domain rank. I actually didn't put domain rank in here because it actually ties into the backlink part. But if you have a low domain rank, you could still rank for things, or you could have a really high domain rank and only have like a few articles, but you might rank for those because like you got like a 80 domain rank or something like that. So I think the first thing that I noticed was, yeah, pretty solid DR and backlinks, but there's no page one ranking. So when I click on organic keywords, I can see the position. And the position is showing, 21, 16, 56, 80. So that's like what number it's ranking. So 21 would be approximately like somewhere between page 2 and page 3, depending on how many ads. 16 is going to be on page 2. So you do have the your backlink profile working for you, but you don't yet have any page one rankings, right? So it's like you're almost there. So that's kind of like cool when you can see like, oh, I'm on page 2 for this, like, ooh, I'm almost there. And just so you guys are aware, like, page 1 gets like, 99% of the traffic. The first 3 results, I don't remember the exact number, but the first 3 results get like, a lot more of the traffic. Page 2, it's like you're really not going to get much, but it's interesting to see, when you're really close and see what you can do to kind of get up there. So yeah, you can see what is almost ranking. So I noticed that it's like designer for a day. So this is what I noticed. Designer for a day is something that is almost ranking, and it's ranking with this page. So it's like Google's telling you what is like a better key phrase to go for. So when we look at this, designer for a day has more search volume than designer by the day. So if I have another Ahrefs tab here, and I'm going to go into I'm going to go to an keywords explorer. So designer, what was it? Designer for a day, and then designer by the day. Designer for a day, designer by the day. So this is where, my top tip again and again is going to be to let the key phrase that you want to rank for direct everything else. So let the key phrase, direct what you're going to put in your headline, what you're going to name that page, the URL, what you're going to put in like the title of the page. So the title is like, if I hover over this, it says keywords explore. If I hover over this, it says services designer by the day. So that's in the meta description. And so like the key phrase that you want to go for should go in the title on the page. And then preferably would actually be the name of the URL as well. So we can see designer by the day isn't even showing up. So it's like we couldn't find, that's because it's an unpopular keyword with a low search volume. Whereas designer for a day has a volume of 50 in the United States, globally 80. Now that might seem low, but if you only take on, 5 to 10 clients a month or even, less, then that can actually be a lot. Like you can go for lower volume key phrases and it could still make a big difference, but you want there to be some volume. So like 50 and above is a good mark, or at least 30 and above. So what I would do would be to change the URL to designer for a day and set up a redirect. That way, if you do have a backlink to that page, it's not going to cause I think it's a 400 error or 401 error when something's, missing. So you want to set up a redirect to that page. Just checking on any comments. Okay. And then use designer for a day in the heading of the page and once more in the body text. So instead of like designer by the day, I would have it say designer for the day. And also this to me looks like it's an image because I can't select it. See if it's text, you can select. I can't select it. So Google can't read text on an image. So like when you're adding your target key phrase in your headline, it's really important to have it in your H1 or H2, your top of your website, your hero section of your website page. But make sure you don't put it in a picture, but put it in like actual text that Google can scan. And then we can see why Google had put this. I think this one was on like page 3 or something, because it's like, it's almost there, right? It's like kind of targeting it, but not quite. So I would remove, you can definitely put the different names because that can be a smart way to hit like secondary key phrases, but I would remove the hyphens. Let's see something else I had in my notes. Yeah, and then in the future, just make sure to check search volume before choosing a URL. And that way you are, giving a shot, right? If you're going to make a page anyways, you might as well give a shot at, ranking for something that has more volume. I also noticed that Doreen wanted to rank for some local key phrases. So if you serve different areas, gotta take a sip of water again. Okay, I'm getting one question on this. Let me see. What if you have limitations for that? Is adding an alt tag to your image a good enough solution? You can definitely add an alt tag, alternative text tag to your images, but I would still highly recommend putting your target key phrase like in the title of the page, which is what this is. The meta description, it's like 140 characters. That's what shows up on Google search if somebody sees the result, but they haven't clicked through yet. There's like a little description. Put it there, put it in the heading, and then put it like once more in the body text, like put it in a paragraph. Alt image tags are good, but they're not a replacement for like just putting it in the heading and just making it really clear this is what this page is targeting. And then also, I want to mention some good things happening here is you can't just make a short page and have it rank for something. Like, unless you have a really big domain rank, tons of backlinks for a specific key phrase, like really good, like actually with the right, backlink text, it's going to be really hard to rank for something that's just a really short page. So something that Doreen's doing well is talking about like, okay, decorating dilemmas we solve, the process, the fee. So you want to make sure that you're really covering this topic, but you can do it in a little more SEO friendly way. Like, what is a designer for the day? Like, what can a designer do in a day, right? Like, what can we achieve in a day? Like, what is the process, right? So you want to cover these things, but you can do it in that kind of like what is, or like you could just make like different sections, like the designer for a day process, like what to expect when working with a designer for a day. Like, so make sure that when you're targeting a key phrase, you're actually covering some of those kind of like subtopics within it. You can find those by doing like a Google search. So you could search like designer for a day and then go scroll to the bottom and see what some like related searches. Oh, designer for a day. Sometimes this isn't that informative, but sometimes it can be helpful. Designer in a day. That's not that helpful, but designer for a day package. I'm just curious, since we're on this tip, virtual interior design services. You might be able to find some things that people are also asking, like interior design services list. You could put like a list on that page of like, what's a list of what you can do, or what a virtual interior design includes. But a lot of it is just intuitive. It's like, what are people going to be asking? It's like the what, the why, the how, the when, what to expect, those sorts of things. So back to the location specific pages. If you serve different areas, it's good to have a dedicated landing page for these. So that way, you're not trying to do too much on your homepage. Or if you think there's a chance you could ever move, then don't try to rank for something with your homepage. Set up a dedicated separate landing page. That way, if you move, you just have to create another landing page. So if you, when creating these landing pages for specific locations, make sure you have the target key phrase in the URL, the meta description, the document title, an on-page heading, like when I was saying in the top, maybe a couple times in the text. Make sure the page is at least 800 words, well formatted with your process, what's included. You could do FAQs, portfolio pieces, of course, like testimonials. So those are the things that I would, do to rank a location page. And then also Google Maps. So I went to maps. Whoops, that didn't work. And I typed Long Island interior designer. Long Island interior designer. Okay. Okay, and so Sorel Interiors is not showing up. I think when is it Sorel, how we spell it? Okay, 1L. Okay, so when I find it, you do have some reviews. So I was actually surprised that it didn't show up, and you do have your, your address. So I was a little surprised that you weren't even showing up. So the things that I would do would be to add like a description and include, Sorel Interiors as an interior design firm serving Long Island, Westchester, and New York City. So like log into your Google My Business listing and see if there's any like description, any places where you can add your key phrase. And then also ask a client to write a review, including like Sorel Interiors is my favorite interior designer in Long Island, something to where they're putting like Long Island in the review, because actually what your reviews say can help you rank for different key phrases. So when you ask a client to review, you could say like, hey, after a successful project, it would mean so much to me if you could write me, an authentic Google review, and also find a way to include the word Long Island in your review. So that, okay, thanks. Cole got us covered with meta description. Okay, so I'm going to move on. That one was a bit like longer because I covered a lot of stuff. I'm going to try to move a little bit quicker here so I can get through. I'd hope to get through 7. Some of them will be a little bit shorter. So let me go back to my notes here. So, okay, so we're looking at Catherine Brooke's website. Catherine mentioned wanting to rank for virtual interior design and virtual interior design services. If I remember correctly, I don't think that she had anything ranking yet. That's taking a while. Okay. Not quite yet. Okay, so yeah, my recommendations would be to create one landing page for virtual interior design services and one for virtual interior design, and then to work on backlink building and blogging with topical authority. In the 6th website, I'm going to go over topical authority. So some of what I'm saying for different websites is actually applicable to other ones, but I just want to make sure I was kind of breaking things out into, specific tips. So what I would do for this one would be one page on virtual interior design. That could be like you're targeting or you're explaining like what it is, how it works, the process, right? Examples. And then virtual interior design services could be like types of different services. That could even be, you could find a way to explain like your different service packages. So that way you're actually like targeting the key phrase the best. And so what Google likes is when you're, being as helpful as possible. So you could have like, a clear name of the service, what it is, what it includes, who it's best for, the cost, like the timeline, right? So these kind of details really help things to rank. So I would start there, create those 2 different separate landing pages. Just like this, like that key phrase is going to actually be the URL of the page. And all of these things are going to apply when making this page. It's just going to be targeting, a different key phrase, and then work on backlink building and blogging, which we'll get into a little bit later. So, okay, I'm going to move on to the next one. This one was really interesting and fun to look at because this site is ranking for a ton of different stuff. Okay. I should also pull it up here. So she has been blogging for who knows, let's see, Cheney. Cheney, if you're here, we would love to know how long you've been blogging for, because you have a lot of rankings. So she has a domain rank of 48, which is quite high for a small business. That's really impressive. That means that she has probably done quite a lot of digital PR. So just for fun, so you can kind of see how you get all these backlinks. So she's been linked from the Spruce, Apartment Therapy, Hunker, Cafe Mom, Muse Wall Studio, Domino. So yeah, I'm curious. Cheney must be doing quite a lot of digital PR. She might be using Haro. I don't know if you guys have heard of Haro. I'll go to that. Help reporter out. Okay, blogging since 2015. That's great. So I'm curious also, Cheney, are you doing Haro? Are you doing guest blog outreach? Do you have a PR firm? How are you getting these wonderful backlinks? I'm curious, because that does make a big difference. So, and this is Help a Reporter Out. That's where you can sign up as a source and answer journalists' questions for a chance, to be featured and most likely to get a link. So taking a look at her content, actually, let me go back to my notes and remind myself what I wanted to talk about. Okay, so yeah, so she's got a lot of great rankings, and she mentioned that she is starting to earn money, not just from her design services, but also from selling products as an affiliate. And so you guys might know that Design Files has a couple features for affiliate links. You can create your own, and you can add them to your product library. So your affiliate links are always stored in your product library. And then you can also, include affiliate links in your designs, which you can embed in your blog or share with your clients so that you can earn money from both your clients and your followers. So I think obviously Cheney knows her stuff with blogging, and she's done a lot of great work. But I noticed that there's some, blog posts that maybe aren't targeting that might be not targeting key phrases like in the best way, like 5 design trends I'm loving right now. It's hard to rank with like a short blog post for these kind of things. Like these trend articles are usually like really long, like 50 design trends or something like that. I think maybe something that could have worked better would be like 5 design trends for, spring, 2022 or something like that. Make it a little bit more specific. So I just noticed there's like a couple posts that don't seem to be taking like a good swing at a key phrase. And then also some posts that, maybe aren't as like affiliate focused as they could be. So the top tip that I would have would be to make a competitor list. So you could search like, best interior design blogs and find other people that are blogging about interior design. I just found one that I wanted to look at. So this is a tip that's going to be great for everybody that wants to build up their topical authority and start ranking for more top of funnel key phrases, doing, competitor research. So here's this blog, Style by Emily Henderson. She is ranking for 263,000 organic keywords. That doesn't mean they're all on page 1, because as you saw, Ahrefs shows us things that are, later, but it's just telling us that Ahrefs and Google are picking up all these different key phrases. So to do successful competitor research, it's smart to set some caps. So let's say we want at least 1,000 in the volume, and keyword difficulty score, we don't want to go higher than 20. So it goes up to 100. Keyword difficulty is like how many big websites are already ranking. If there's little small businesses ranking that have low DR, you have a chance. If it's all like, Elle and Vogue and Real Simple that are ranking, it's not going to work. So in doing these, I saw like Art Deco furniture. So that has 13,000 volume and a keyword difficulty of only 12. And that works great for an affiliate blog post because it's specific to furniture. Like it's not just like inspiration or colors, like somebody's actually searching for furniture. So by ranking for that key phrase, you can, potentially sell more of those products through your affiliate links. So yeah, my top tip for this website would be use competitor research, set those limits, below 20 in competition, at least, I did 1,000, at least 2,000 searches per month, and things that have affiliate potential. So like kind of like a bottom of funnel key phrase, but for affiliate sales as opposed to for your design services. And then you may or may not want to do this because you're still, like obviously offering services. But at some point, if you ever choose to add ads to your site, if you want to have a time where you're making money a little bit more in the passive way, you could try doing ads and affiliate if you want to, since you are ranking for so much. People can, make full-time living just running ads and ranking in search. So let's see. And then Cheney mentioned almost all of them are organic. I've been reached out to by these different sites from their marketing department's PR. Okay, they find me on Pinterest a lot. That's great. So yeah, your social media profile, having an optimized social media profile can be a really great source of backlinks. So, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, writers, bloggers, media professionals, they're all searching for specific designers in a specific niche or location. So having like a well-optimized profile can really help with getting reached out to. You can also follow different like journalists on Twitter, like check out who's covering design topics on certain like digital magazines, and then follow them on Twitter, and you'll see they'll post like, hey, looking for a designer to give tips on XYZ, like comment or DM me. So that's another way you can get PR from social media. Okay, so now I am going to move on to Johanna's website. Okay, so somebody's asking, do you recommend always to link Pinterest to your post to rank higher? And I'll get to more QA at the end, but I was just going to answer that really quickly. I am not a Pinterest expert whatsoever because I work, a lot in like software, and it's not as big in software, but obviously for interior design it is. So I need to be learning more about it. But I'm really hardcore on the Google SEO side. So for me, my belief is the more time that I spend on Google SEO, the better results I'm going to have. Because there's just so much opportunity to rank for these really high volume key phrases. But yeah, I think that, I guess what I'm saying is I'm not really qualified to answer that question. That is what I'm saying. I'm not a Pinterest expert. A lot of people say Pinterest traffic is not the same. I wonder what Cheney has to say. I wonder what Cheney has to say about that, because I've heard that Pinterest traffic has dropped a lot. So my thoughts are I'm just all in on Google, but I do kind of just put like a few minutes into Pinterest here and there. So yeah, I would kind of ask some different other designers that that have ranked on Pinterest and ask them if it's still worth it, because I know when they changed their algorithm in like 2018, 2019, a lot of people had their traffic cut in like 70%. So I'm not sure if it's still worth it, or if you're better off just trying to get as much content out there as you can. So I think it depends on, your goals. If you want to rank for like a bottom of funnel key phrase, like you really want to rank for, I think this one I'm looking at now, Philadelphia interior design, Pinterest isn't really going to help you. You're going to be better off trying to get, digital PR, get mentioned in articles, linking to you from Philadelphia interior design, and then put up, as many blog posts like as you can. It can just be once or twice a month that are building your topical authority. That's going to help you more than Pinterest. Pinterest would only help you rank within Pinterest. It's not going to help you rank within Google. So if your goal is really to rank within Google for bottom of funnel key phrase, focus on that kind of SEO trifecta. If you're looking to build traffic to your blog for affiliate sales, then Pinterest could be really helpful. So for this website, let's see, did I put it in? Okay. Where were my, okay, interior design. So interior design, Philadelphia. So Johanna mentioned that that's her desired key phrase to rank for, but it's position 84, which means it's somewhere around page 8 or 9. So the reason why is because it's only in your document title and I don't see it on the website. So if I go like this, and Cole did put a link for meta description. So if I go like this, I can see it. It's in the meta title, the document title. It says Philadelphia interior design. So Google knows it should somewhat be ranking. So that's how it got on page 8 or 9, but it's not on page 1 because we don't see it anywhere else. So this is where we want to find a way to balance. If we want to find a way to balance our location with our niche. So you can do both. So what I would recommend would be like this part could say, Philadelphia interior designer, create your, I know that this is like a free guide, but I would change it to, like your target key phrase that you want for your main business, and then maybe put the guide in the next section and then the intro in the next section. So basically what I'm trying to say is you want to find a way to do both, like optimize it for Philadelphia interior design while also sharing your niche. So yeah, you could do that by changing your hero section, and then also a really easy way to have your location on your page would be to put it in your intro section. Like, I'm a Philadelphia-based interior designer that helps enviro-conscious homeowners, right? So we work it in there, and then you might also put it in the footer, and put like, if you don't want to put your like home address because you don't have a business address, that's fine. You could just put like, Philadelphia interior designer, like, here, and then maybe like your email or something like that. So footers are always a really easy way to also add it in because you want to have it in a couple different places. And then the other things that I had mentioned for some other websites are also going to be relevant in terms of like the page length and all that good stuff. Okay, and then I wanted to go back to the Google Maps thing. So Maps, Google, Philadelphia interior design. Okay, so not showing up in Google Maps. And then I think you did have a profile rooted by design, Philadelphia. Okay, so you do have a profile. You just don't have any like reviews. So it's a long haul, right? SEO is like a long haul. So it's just getting in the habit of when you do a project, ask them to give you a review. And in a couple years, you'll be glad you did because, you'll have however many handfuls or dozens of reviews, and, you'll start to see yourself showing up there. I'm not an expert in Google business listings. I'm more of an expert in the niche backlink building type of SEO. So you might also want to just Google some different blog posts on like, how can you optimize your Google My Business listing? Because it really is huge for local SEO. And that's because Google puts location-based terms. They prioritize the map is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, they prioritize the maps. So obviously they put ads first, but then they prioritize maps. So having a chance to end up, even if it takes a few years, having a chance to end up in the top 3 map results can make a really big difference because Google just assumes that if you're putting a location that you want to see local businesses, so they show you the map. Whereas if you type, any other sort of key phrase, you don't see the map, right? So it shows you how important it is to work on this, even if it does take time. Let's see. There had been someone who, okay, at the end I have an example of a good Google My Business listing. So we'll get there. Okay, so those are the tips that I had for Rooted by Design. I am going to move on to the next one. This is Foxy Interiors. Okay, and this is Marie. So let's see. She mentioned like wanting to rank more in like Orlando. So what I wanted to first start with this one was to kind of see what she's already ranking for. So she has a lot of like top of funnel kind of like you know, let's see, interior design stager. She has some bottom of funnel rankings too that are like lower. Oh, I think what I done was searched Orlando because she has so many different ones. I think I searched Orlando because I wanted to see where she was at with some of her Orlando ones. So she's like not, it's showing that she's almost there, but she's not quite there. So one thing I found by looking at this was that we have a page that's doing double duty. So we have this page. It is ranking for home staging and real estate photography, which are like kind of different things, right? So if I go Orlando Home Stagers, that is on her real estate photography page. Orlando Real Estate Photography is also here, but it's not quite ranking. And it would be a really good key phrase to rank for because, yeah, these are different ones. This real estate photography Orlando is 150, Orlando Real Estate Photography 100, Orlando Home Staging 200. So yeah, you could have a very thriving business, a very busy business and lots of leads by getting on page one for key phrases that are in, above 100. Because yeah, if you're only working with a handful or a dozen clients a month, that's going to make a massive difference if you can get on page one. So what I would do, let me show you how I could tell it was doing double duty. Let me find that page. Okay. So this is the real estate photography page, but it's got also Orlando Home Staging in here. So although these things are related, they're different enough that it makes sense to separate them. They're different enough that we can make these different key phrases, different URLs. So this goes back to kind of my overall tip to really make sure that you're letting your key phrases determine your URLs, determine your website structure. So start there and then build the page so it really satisfies that key phrase and the intent of that key phrase. So what I would do is I would keep this one it's real estate photography. That's what you already have. I would redo the on-site optimization for Orlando Real Estate Photographer and Orlando Real Estate Photography. So let's see, that was the homepage. So yeah, sell your home faster with spectacular real estate photography. So I would say something like sell your home faster. And then like a sub headline could be, I don't know what the adjective would be. I'm trying to think of an adjective, but I can't think of a good one off my head. We'll just go with talented, real estate photographer in Orlando, or trusted Orlando real estate photographer. Do your own branding, your own personality. That's just a way that you could do that. Like this could be like a big, sell your home faster. And the sub headline, trusted Orlando real estate photographer. And then, you could have what does real estate photography include? And then you could say, as a real estate photographer in Orlando, I bop in your process, right? And then you could also do like, instead of gallery, you could say Orlando real estate photography examples. So you don't want to like totally keyword stuff, but you do got to do a little bit. So you want to have, depending on the length of the page, like 2 to 4 times where you're using these key phrases on the page. Then I would take this page. So you already have one that is staging services, but I would re-optimize it for Orlando home staging. And I would take Orlando home staging out of this page and re-optimize this page for Orlando home staging. So similar thing, kind of have like your branded thing, like, sell your home faster. So like whatever kind of branded, like attractive key phrase you want to have or headline you want to have, and then put that key phrase in the sub headline, and then also find some ways to put it in your process, what you offer, what to expect, the timeline. And then you don't have to put the key phrase, you don't have to put Orlando in every heading, but try to find a way to put it in there a couple different times. An example is a really easy way to do it because it's kind of more natural. You're not saying like, what does Orlando home staging include? Like that doesn't really make that much sense. You should just say, what does home staging include? And then Orlando home staging examples. So yes, that's exciting. Good opportunities there. Okay. I am going to move on to Ore. So we've got inspiredhomedecor.com. Okay, so so she's like ranking for some things that are related to her business name. So she mentioned, my niche is modern, eclectic, and colorful design for busy parents and busy professionals. So some niches are hard to rank for bottom of funnel key phrases. So, people will be looking for like an eclectic interior designer, but people aren't necessarily searching like, busy like parent, like interior designer for busy parents. Like it's a great niche for, your social media and your PR, but it's not necessarily a niche that makes sense for like SEO. And I kind of check that. It's like people don't really search for that. We're like, because it doesn't make sense. If you're a busy professional, you're just going to search for an interior designer, either a virtual one or one in your location. You're not necessarily going to search for like one for yourself. You're like, I'm a busy parent, I need an interior designer. This is not how people's brains work. They just are that, and then they just search that. So that's a great niche to like clarify on your website, your social, your content. But it's not like a key phrase type of thing. So what I would do is separate this into two main topics. So that would be eclectic interior design and then online interior design. So this is where we're going to get into this idea of topical authority. So eclectic interior design. So we're going to type that. Then we're going to go view all. Now, a lot of these are going to have some higher key phrase difficulties. Some of them are going to have lower ones. Since I think you had a low DR. In general, you want to like keep your domain rank kind of lower than what you are than what you're shooting for. So like if your domain rank is like 30, then maybe shoot for key phrases that are like, 40 and below, a little bit like low. So since your domain rank, you're just getting started, you haven't done much PR, domain rank's low. So you're going to want to go for some of like these lower key phrase ones. That's just kind of an easy way to make sure that you're going after ones that you have a chance of. But as you build that domain rank, you build that topical authority, you can go for more higher key phrases, higher competition key phrases as you go along. So to build that topical authority, you could find different kind of variations of eclectic design and write blog posts for them. So like modern bohemian eclectic interior design. You could write like a blog post that's guide to modern bohemian eclectic interior design. Like X colorful eclectic interior design tips. Like my favorite vintage eclectic interior design products, styles. I don't know. But basically you can find a whole ton of blog topic ideas that's going to build your topical authority. So I just want to show you like an example for like one of my blogs. So what I do is like, I kind of like batch it into the different topics. And then I make sure that everything that's below is always going to link to like the main pillar post. So we call them like, you know, pillar posts, and then everything links out to it like a spoke on a wheel. 1 second. So what I would do would be to make a bottom of funnel landing page for eclectic interior design and a bottom of funnel landing page for online interior design, and then write a bunch of blog posts that are linking to the associated key phrase. So the modern, you know, one, the vintage one would be linking to your eclectic interior design landing page. And then some of your blogs can also interlink to each other, like always link to, you know, 3 to 4 of your other blogs, because Google likes interlinking. It reminds Google that you have that topical authority. Then you have these landing pages that are kind of like what I've described before, where it's like you're covering the intent of the key phrase, but you're also selling your services. So your process, your examples, what's included, that sort of thing. So that way you still have these, you know, these bottom of funnel landing pages that work really great on your website. You're proud to show them. They sell your service, but then they're also aiding in your kind of SEO efforts and acting as those pillar pages that all your related blog posts are going to link to. So if you work on that over time, plus your backlinks, there's a really good chance that you could have the online interior design will be more competitive. But there's a really good chance that you could have a lot of rankings within eclectic interior design and some within online interior design. So you could do that, you know, get those pages up, those 2 bottom funnel landing pages up, and then work on getting maybe a couple blog posts per month and try to get like 1 backlink per month. You could go higher if you have more time, but that would be a good sort of like baseline to start with. Okay, so now we are going to look at Helen's website. So I'm curious if Helen is here, because Helen mentioned that she redesigned her website, and doing so caused her rankings to drop. So I am curious, example of the landing pages you talk about. Yeah. Okay, so let's just see what happens when we actually interior. See, that's annoying because it's a lot of like, here we go. A lot of like magazines and stuff. That's why I like having a niche, you know, can help a little bit. So online interior design services. So she has a like very clear, her key phrases in the headline. And then she has like the kind of like attractive branded personality one below that. Then she has how it works, FAQs, featured, latest posts. That's not the greatest, you know, not the greatest website, but I guess because it's got a lot of, what's the word? Could be because it has a lot of backlinks. Let's see if we can find something better. Yeah, I should have had a good one planned, so sorry about that. Trying to find a good one. Let's see. Let's try a location. Cisco interior designer. Well, here we go. No, what's it called? No content on this page, which again means they probably have a lot of backlinks. Well, the good thing is that there's a lot of what's the word? A lot of opportunity when people aren't doing things that great. We do have a website guide. That's probably where I could find it. We do have like here's a good one. So like she has the meet her, yeah. So it's not the greatest. We have a website guide where actually we have some examples of like the good key phrases. I'm trying to think of this. Okay, let's see. Sacramento. I just remembered who one of them that's in there. Okay, Carrie Kelly Design Lab. So portfolio, interior design services. So she has like her portfolio, interior design services located in Sacramento. So she actually ranks for, I think, Sacramento designer. So it can be pretty easy. Like I think coming from the SEO world, I like to put a lot in there, but you can keep them pretty sparse if you do have a lot of backlinks saying, or a lot of reviews saying you are, the Sacramento interior designer of choice. So it's sort of like where that trifecta comes into play, where if you have less backlinks, you need more content. But it's interesting that you can actually rank with not tons of content, but you have to have like, those key phrases that make it clear that that's where you are. And then also what I know about Carrie Kelly, because I know her personally, is she has a ton of backlinks and she does a ton of digital PR. So yeah, if you see a website that's ranking and they don't have a whole lot of text, it's because they have a lot of backlinks. So if you want those, like, those local key phrases, you can work on the backlinks and the Google reviews so you show up in maps and in search. So let's see. I wanted to see, okay, so she says, I'm here. Okay, so yeah, I'm curious what she did. So you updated your website. I wonder, like, what did you do? Because you say you want to rank for interior design. I don't know if I'm going to say this right. Burnmouth? Burnmouth? I don't know. But I saw you on there, I thought. Coral Interiors. So you're at the bottom of page 1 and you are showing up in Google Maps. Yay! That's exciting. You are showing up in Google Maps. So I'm curious what you changed. When I looked at it, let's see what I noticed. Okay, on-site optimization for, yeah, maybe you need a little bit more on-site optimization for interior design Burnmouth, because it seems like maybe it's picking it up because you used to have that. I know you do have it right there, based in Burnmouth. Okay. Now you could also create different landing pages, like I mentioned with somebody else. You could create different landing pages for each location. I had a professional website, but I couldn't edit it myself. So I changed to Thrive themes, and I must have lost a lot of SEO juice. Let's see, you can actually see, I wonder if maybe there's just less, I wonder if there's less like search volume for that. Inside of Ahrefs, you can see when things are lost, movements. So movements is where it tells you if you're going higher or lower. Residential interior design, but you were only on position 99. Interior design Burnmouth. Okay, so this is actually showing you went a little bit higher, but maybe you were higher a while ago. Maybe you used to be ranking higher up on that page and it's just showing too recent. Maybe the change was a while ago. Change to Thrive themes. Changing to Thrive themes shouldn't mess up your SEO. So the only thing that should mess up your SEO is like changing URLs. Like if you're ranking for something with a URL, but you don't realize it, and you change the URL and you don't do a redirect, or you just delete the URL. Or if you're ranking for something like you have interior design Burnmouth really high. Maybe that was like your main headline. And so Google ranked you number 1, but then you removed it and all you have is Burnmouth down here. Then maybe Bournemouth. Bournemouth down here, then Google could lower it. So you're still ranking in maps. You're just low on page 1. Yes, I used to be top 3. Okay, so you used to be top 3 2 years ago. So it could be because I get that you're doing the Airbnb interior design as your specialty. So that goes back to kind of like trying to mix the location with the niche. So you could change it to like interior design, Bournemouth, and then below that Airbnb in like Airbnb design to wow your guests, right? And then in here you could say as an interior designer in Bournemouth, something like that. So you're putting it a couple more times. So yeah, that's what I would do. There could be that maybe you had it in there, but then you removed it in some way. I would also see if maybe you could like add the location into like a couple of your reviews. But yeah, so it's like you're almost there. Let me see, what was your domain rank to? Okay, so your DR is a little bit low too, so you could work on that. Doing help a reporter out, reaching out to guest blog on some interior designer blogs that aren't like competitors. Like it could be an interior design blog where she or he doesn't offer design services, just blog about interior design. So that way it's not a competitor. You could reach out to write a guest blog for them. And then in your bio section, link to your website from Interior Design Bournemouth. Do that like once a month for 3 months, plus change the website text to put the location a little more front and center, and see if that happens. Okay, so that wraps up the audit. So now we can answer a few more questions. I have the questions on my laptop here. I'm going to answer a few more questions here. Okay. Yeah, and if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. Now is the time. Thank you for watching. I know SEO can feel a little daunting, but it's really all about that kind of steady push, just like with social media. If you say, oh, I do 3 Instagram posts a week, it's, with SEO, it's like I do, 1 guest blog and 1 main blog on my site a month, or based on kind of what I've talked about here and what you know to be true for your website. You might say I do 1 SEO thing a month, and that could be a new landing page, that could be blog posts, that could be reaching out to reporters until you get featured. So like set sort of a cadence and then, do what needs to get done. Okay, so yeah, the landing page it's actually like a different structure within your website, because most websites, like if you have a blog, you actually have a blog role where all of your like blogs show up, where a landing page is basically just a website page. So it's not gonna, if you create a landing page, it's not gonna show up in your blog role. It's something that you usually put on your menu. So say you have services and then you like drop down. So like if you are a designer that is covering different locations, you could have, Brooklyn interior design services, New York City interior design services. And those would be website pages that are all dropping down from a menu item called services. So that's where I mean with like letting the URLs, or letting the key phrases that you want to rank for, let those dictate your URLs and this, like the architecture of your website, which just basically means your menu items. Yes, SEO and Google are a little bit scary, but as long as we are thinking in the mind of like, what does Google want? It's to keep their searchers happy. So how can we really like, present kind of what the Google searcher is searching for, and like actually satisfy the intent of their search. But if you're doing things like they're, you're doing things in an honest, authentic way, then it doesn't have to be scary because you're truly just trying to help and provide the content that that person is actually looking for. Glad that everybody found it was helpful. Yay, super happy. Yeah, so check out this blog post as well. It goes through everything. But yeah, it looks like I have reviews on house. Can they be transferred to Google reviews? Unfortunately, not. You can't like directly transfer them, but you could email all of those clients and say, hey, thank you so much for reviewing me on house, a year ago. I really appreciate it. I'm really hoping to show up in Google Maps. That would be so important for my business to help me. Could you actually just write your review in Google as well? They can just copy and paste it because it's totally fine if it's the same review. So you could just copy and paste it into, on my page. That would make a massive difference. And, thanks for your time. However you want to word the email. But yeah, you can just ask them basically, and then get in the habit of asking them going forward, because yes, any of you who are local would be amazing to show up in Google Maps. The blog post does go over everything actually. Pretty much it does. It is very detailed. So yeah, and feel free to comment on this video if you have some questions after reading the blog post. Social media links, they are a form of a backlink. The ones that say it's in your profile, linking back to your site, they are, but I think social media profiles or social media companies, they have a way of making them a no follow link. So don't worry about that. That's SEO technicality junk, but they're not really that useful basically, because you're only going to have a handful of links from your social media accounts, and they don't really give you that SEO juice. So you're looking for links from digital publications, digital magazines, relevant blogs, location-based blogs too. If there's a, what's happening in your area kind of a blog, you could write for them too, or get a quote. So yeah, the social backlinks don't really give you that SEO juice. Let's see here. Okay, so a backlink is another link that is linking as another website linking to your website. So if you write something or they quote you, they're going to link to your website. That's a backlink. Is it better to create an article on a landing page or have a blog roll? So that depends on the intent of the key phrase. So this goes to that bottom funnel, top of funnel thing. So if somebody's searching for, virtual interior designer, Sacramento interior designer, they're looking to buy. So it's important to just create a landing page or have that be your home page that, they could just understand what they need to hire you. But if it's part of your topical authority, so it's eclectic, modern design tips, then that would be a blog post. So think of what is the person searching for? And you can actually convert people from blog posts. So because if it's helpful, then they're going to be more likely to fill out your contact form, right? If it's how to choose an interior designer, and it's a blog post that's actually really helpful, then they might be more likely to contact you. And I've seen this. I've seen blog posts that are converting into, free trial signups, obviously coming from the software world, at 15 to 17%, whereas the landing page is only doing it at 2%. So don't underestimate the power of blogging to actually turn somebody into a client, especially if you have an email opt-in that they could get in on, and they become a client later. So yeah, do it based on the intent of the key phrase, but also know that just creating helpful content and actually satisfying that key phrase can still turn them into a customer or a client. It doesn't have to be a landing page. You can do that with a blog page. So not directly related to SEO, but affects it. I had a bunch of Google reviews when I first started my business. then Google was asking me to verify my business address, which I don't have because my business is out of my house and didn't want to give that address. So basically, since they couldn't verify my address, they took away all of my Google reviews. So yeah, because I don't focus on local SEO, I don't know a ton about it. What I do know is that in order to, have a Google business page, you have to verify your address, which means that they will send you a postcard. And then it's got a code, and you get a login code and they send it to your phone or your email. They're basically sending you a code and a letter to verify that you actually live there. What I'm not sure of is maybe you can verify the business address, but not show it. Because I have seen some of that in Google where it's it shows what areas they're serving, but it doesn't necessarily show the address. So there is a chance that maybe you can try to do that again, and maybe they will, maybe your Google reviews will come back after you verify. So I would first try to see if you can you verify and then just not show that address, and then do the verification and see if those Google reviews will come back. Unfortunately, their support is probably not going to get in touch with you, which is really one of the more difficult things about dealing with, the big tech companies, is their support tends to be, horrendous. So hopefully verifying and then not showing the address would be possible for you. I have people wanting to do a guest post on my blog. Is that okay if they are legit? How many of these can I do a month? Yeah, so you can definitely publish other people's content on your website. Actually, sometimes, you can have somebody publish a guest post and it ends up ranking, and getting a ton of traffic. So what you want to do is just ask them for samples. Can I see an example of what you have published elsewhere? And then see what kind of companies they're linking to. Sometimes people will reach out to you to guest post and they're actually doing it for their clients because they're trying to link to their websites, and they'll try to link to a bunch of different websites from your site. So we kind of want to see from their examples, are they linking to a bunch of different websites, or are they only linking to their own? Because you just want to make sure that you're only linking to, quality websites. You just want to check them out. So, and make sure that the content is good and that it targets a key phrase. So if you're going to have somebody guest post for you, you might as well have it be something that's on your list, to blog about. So it could be spring 2022 design ideas or something. I don't know if that would get a lot of search volume, so you have to check how much volume that would get. But yeah, make sure that they're targeting a key phrase for you so that it's actually helpful. So yeah, just check their samples. And then once they give you the post, check what they're linking to. It's customary that they would get at least one link to their website, and then everything else they're linking to is just for good research and just for stats or examples or something. So just make sure that it doesn't look like they're just spamming you with a bunch of links and that it's low quality content. And yeah, I would probably only do 1 or 2 a month. And then also I would do no more than a 1-to-1 ratio with what you're posting, preferably more of a 1-to-2 ratio, you blog 2, they do 1, just to make it on the safe side. So I think that wraps up all of our questions. Thank you everybody for watching. To request Google reviews, you really can just ask your clients, just send a link. Say, hey, showing up in Google Maps would be massive for my business to do this. I got to get as much Google reviews as I possibly can. Could you take a minute and leave me a review on my Google My Business page? And, include the word Brooklyn. That would make a huge difference for me. Thank you so much for your time. So just send an email after a successful project. For big businesses, they'll automate this, but as a small company, you can just send a 1-to-1 email. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Glad it was helpful. We will see you guys next time, and have a great rest of your day.